I'm about to say his ass is not separating from no tiny. They stuck at the hip.
How come I went to church on Saturday for Easter, playing Kendrick's new album?
Oh yeah, I saw that post. Did I like it?
Sorry, Jesus. Welcome back to the KJ from OC podcast. I'm your host, KJ from OC, back again with my co-host, Ashley Henson. Ashley, say hi.
Hello.
That sounds so sexy. That's so cute.
Really?
Yeah, it did. Say it again.
No.
Say it again.
No.
Say it the way I said it, girl.
No.
I'm gonna tell you something.
Wow.
You need to say things the way I tell you sound. Tell little boy to get up the damn couch. You ain't getting the cookies, boy.
Bernie Mac has entered the building.
Kanye, sing.
Welcome back from the dead.
After Easter. Oh, that's not funny.
No.
Happy post-Easter, everyone, for those who are Christians. And for those who aren't, well then, happy Thursday. You're welcome. You can find me on Twitter at KJ from OC on there. Because it'll be Thursday by the time they hear the show.
Okay, happy Thursday.
Just,
yeah.
I gotta cut that part out too. You can find me on Twitter at KJ from OC, on Facebook, KJ from OC page. It's also hidden under Kingston John Man. KJ from OC podcast, also on Facebook. That's where you can find the links to all the shows. The show topics are on the KJ from OC single guy page. Single guy? That sounds like I'm selling you like my Tinder Bumble account. No, I don't mean single guy.
Or a movie.
Single guy, like the profile. Yeah, the regular profile. What am I saying? And I'm also on Snapchat and Tumblr. Instagram.
Just posted it.
Do you remember a couple weeks ago I said I wouldn't do internet dating ever again? So I went out with my boy Rome last week. What's up, Rome? We went out to Speakeasy, this place over at, what is the name of the actual place? I forget the name of the actual place, but there's a Speakeasy at the bottom of this place. You know what Speakeasy is?
No.
You like knock on the back door, you say a password, you can get in. It was like back in the Prohibition days.
Oh, so that's real.
So me and my boy, we got invited to this
Or
place.
illegal gambling poker game, but
Probably. And we went to this thing, and we were hanging out there for a few hours, and a bartender, nice dude named CJ. What's up, CJ? And we were also invited by my buddy Arash, DJ Arash. And so we're in there hanging out. We're talking to the bartender all night. And, we're chopping it up, and we're talking about internet dating randomly somehow. And all of a sudden, he said that I think he said Bumble was the app that he used to find his girlfriend that he'd been with for like 5 months. And so while we're sitting there, all of a sudden, I now have a Bumble account that apparently does not get any hits.
What is Bumble?
It's a dating app that I downloaded, and you update your profile pic, which pulls it in from Facebook, so my name is wrong. That's not my real name on Facebook. And my age is correct. But yeah, the name is totally wrong. So, oh, look at this girl texting me. Hello. It's for the show. I'm lying. And so now, yeah, I have a dating profile. And then Saturday, I was with a friend of mine who was in town. Hi, Patty. And she was in town, and we were hanging out. We were drinking beers and watching Game of Thrones, talking, chopping it up for like 4 hours. We were just sitting there talking. And all of a sudden, now I have a Tinder. And it's just so funny. Just like, these are so dumb. They're so dumb. I mean, it works for some people. But I think for other people, there needs to be almost like a demographic specific to it.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm going to hit that demographic.
It's not for everyone.
For where I live.
Well, you know. It's not for everyone.
Newport? No. So anyway, in the past week, we've had some updates on some things, and I mean, people are still sending the memes around for David Dow. You remember the Asian dude from United Airlines? Mm-hmm. People are posting a meme. I don't know. It's kind of funny because it's not. I don't mean like I'm laughing, but it's a meme that when I see it, I see certain types of people using it, as opposed to other people. Like I wouldn't see the Asian community using this, in my opinion. I haven't seen them using it, but I've seen other folks using it. And I'm thinking, is this supposed to be funny? And it says United Airlines, #1 in Chinese takeout. #1 in Chinese takeout.
That's not funny.
See? And people I've seen it 2 or 3 times, and it was both on people's pages who voted for Donald Trump.
That's not funny, though.
It's not. But that's where I think, it's like, you see the divide now between white folks and minorities. It's like, something happens to a minority, oh, it's funny. It's funny for everyone.
How about you get dragged off of a plane?
It wouldn't happen to me. I do everything the authority says, and I don't fight back, and Black Lives Matter as much. Oh, God. Yeah, more people getting deleted.
Yeah.
I got deleted the other day twice, but we'll get into that.
Good.
After the first topic, which is going to be right now. First topic. So, over the weekend, there was a man named Steve Stevens out in Cleveland who went on I don't know if you call it maybe a psychotic break, or he was definitely depressed. Definitely at least depressed. Would you say he was depressed at least in the video you saw?
And I would absolutely call it a psychotic break.
Okay. Depressed and a psychotic break. He was with a girl, or at least maybe he thought he was with a girl for a while. I don't know. And he said he was with her for a while, and she drove him crazy, and he'd lost all his money, and he said he was like out of hope, out of options. Tried to talk to his mom about, how he was feeling emotionally. He said he was suicidal and homicidal. And she kind of just like shrugged him off, basically. And so we just saw the video of the first man he killed, whose name I forget, but since it's been on Twitter 1.5 million times, I'm sure, I'm not going to say that guy's name again. We're going to let his family, just kind of mourn the loss of their grandfather. It was a 67, 70-something-year-old man. So we're just going to leave that where it is. But he was one of the victims that was filmed being killed and posted on Facebook. I mean, that just sucks, right? Mm-hmm. And then the human side of me for the actual killer, Steve Stevens, the human side of me, listening to him talk, even though he had just committed this horrible thing, just committed a horrible, heinous act that many people would deem unforgivable, and I understand. I still heard the boy inside, the son inside, the hurt ex-boyfriend inside, who's just reaching out for someone to say, hey, I got you. I'm right here with you. You can complain all you want. I understand. Let's get you some help. Not just pull yourself up by the bootstraps and keep it moving. That doesn't work that way. Not everyone is in the right sound mind and body. You know what I mean? Like, people go through stuff. And if you don't recognize and address when people are going through stuff, you're going to miss something. And there was a story I heard months ago about this boy who kept saying to his best friend, a female, I think they were in high school, he was going to commit suicide. And he kept telling her that he was going to do it, and he never even did it. And like, she would always try to talk him down or whatever. And I guess she got sick of it one day. She said, just go ahead and do it. And he did. Mm-hmm. She got held liable for that. But instead of telling him to do it, just go get him some help. Just do that. And that's what Steve Stevens needed. He needed someone to talk to. He needed someone to open up to him. I understand people are going to say this guy's a monster, thug, should have been killed, whatever. He killed himself Tuesday in a McDonald's. He ordered some French fries. I think he was in Virginia or somewhere, 60 miles east of Cleveland. 60 miles east of Cleveland. Erie, Pennsylvania, that's what it was. He was out there.
I know what that said.
And he was, I guess, waiting in line for some French fries. And while he waited, the police were called. And while they were called, I guess he found out that they were called and then killed himself. I don't know if he killed himself inside the McDonald's or he did it outside or whatever, but either way, he killed himself, and so he's dead. But a part of me is just sad for the person inside. As a guy who's a therapist, and Ashley's a therapist too, not really currently, but she's getting there. That sounds bad.
Monday I'll be a therapist.
Took you long enough. No, I'm kidding.
Whatever.
Congratulations. Ashley got a new job.
Thank you.
So no more podcasting for her. She's too good for you guys.
They'll be podcasting.
Yeah, we will. Black and black. Back on the attack.
I get out of work 4:30, so every day.
So I'll be here at 6. You're welcome.
7:30? Who said I wanted you to be here at 6? Sorry, people, that's off air.
Anyway, so he's dead now, but I still feel, like I said, I feel bad for the guy inside who was hurting and needed needed some help, didn't get help, was kind of brushed aside. I mean, that's like the worst thing to do for somebody who's going through some really deep shit. And so there was another video that he posted to his Facebook page of him outside of a building, I guess where he worked, Brooks something or other. He was a case manager. He said he hears people's problems all the time. And then he said when it comes to mine, people just don't give an F. So he said that's why I don't give an F anymore either. And I'm like, golly, that is just the worst. Like I'm not saying what he did was right. Obviously, do not get that twisted. I am not saying that at all. But it's just like, man, I understand why you would feel that way. I would feel really bad too if, man, yeah.
Well, I think we look as individuals who are growing in the counseling field, we look at the symptoms rather than look at the issue. Mm-hmm. Not saying that we're escaping the issue of what happened. We take a step back and always look at the why.
Okay.
Why was this happening? Mm-hmm. We say what was going on, but we're not saying, okay, what is this? Like, what he did was just horrible. No, we're saying, okay, why did he do what he did?
Yeah.
And that's the point I think you and I are taking from this. And you're right, there is no justification as to why he behaved that way and why he decided, you know what, I'm just going to take everyone else's lives because I'm upset, and then I'm going to take my own life. You know, mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure there's not a justification for that. However, there was more to that, the behavior and the lashing out. There was more to it because the root of it was hurt. The root was pain. Mm-hmm. The root was I've been ignored.
Yeah. The
root was neglect. You know what I'm saying? The root was way beyond him killing people. That was a result.
Yeah, it was a symptom. You can stop the symptoms all you want. You can cut the tree branches off, but if the root is really the thing messing up the branches and the bark and the everything in there, then that's the issue. It's not the tree branches.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Just like when we get vignettes, we're like, okay, we're always taught pull out the symptoms.
Yeah.
What are the symptoms? Mm-hmm. Okay.
Contextual factors.
Contextual factors, exactly. Looking at that video, what was he? Mid-age.
Probably about 35 to 40. Uh-huh.
Okay. African-American male. Mm-hmm. We're looking at someone who is highly depressed, and I want to put highly on that, highly depressed and mentally unstable, who could also have some sort of dual diagnosis, because honestly, when there is a level of depression, there are psychotic features that can come along with that. These are just the symptoms of what we see from him and what he's, as he's talking to us or talking to the people in the video. But that's not what America's going to see. Mm-hmm. It's just going to be like, oh, he was just doing this and he took out everybody's lives because his life was horrible and da-da-da-da-da. Yeah, but key point, he had issues in his own life. Yeah. That doesn't excuse what he did, but it gives an answer as to why he did what he did. Mm-hmm. And I think one of the things I did take from that, and this is why we always talk about therapy and our minority communities are so important, is because of issues like that, relationship issues, just issues in general. This stemmed not only from a romantic relationship, but from childhood. That stemmed from childhood. Yeah. You blame two people in your life.
Two women.
Including
in your primary life. Caregiver.
Exactly. People who were supposed to be, I guess, your right hand. Those people that you deemed important in your life, but maybe it wasn't reciprocated. And it was your girlfriend or pretend girlfriend, because I don't know whether she was all the way in it with you, and your mother, who seemed to didn't care about you or about your feelings, because maybe she didn't know about her own.
Yeah. You have to acknowledge your own stuff if you're going to be there for your child.
And if she can't be there for herself, she damn sure can't be there for him. So it's like, no, he didn't take ownership. And that's one thing I noticed. He did not take ownership.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you did say that.
Of his own things. And that's why we talk about therapy and counseling. All of that is just so crucial, because we need to get this off of our chest. We can't keep running it around in our circle and thinking things are going to change. You can't go to an auntie. You can't always go to an uncle. You can't go to a grandparent. Sometimes you just need to sit down with somebody outside of your circle so that way they can validate those feelings, provide some empathy, provide help that you need beyond what is probably being said or given to you in that moment within your context. And I say that is because it's important for us to understand the messages that we've been told growing up, and we need to understand what's been modeled right in front of us in order for us to understand, okay, this is why I behave this way. This is why I'm lashing out like this. How can I break this chain? Why am I so depressed? It starts pinpointing things in your lives. And I feel like as minorities, and not just African Americans, I just mean minorities in general, it's crucial to have that counseling and that therapeutic experience that we don't get to have. That was a lot, sorry.
It's okay. I've been just processing this stuff, just thinking about my own stuff today too, just the things that we talked about off.
Oh, did I say something?
No. I think just the whole topic of people needing to be there for you in your time of need, and if they're not, how that feels.
Yeah.
Not saying I had anything closely remotely to what this dude was talking about, but just how it feels to feel like that. It sucks. It would really suck.
But any one of us can be at that point.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And I think people forget that. If you're put in a situation, anybody can be a killer. Anybody can...
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You never know where you're going to be one day. You would hope that you wouldn't be somewhere. But, yeah. You never know.
You're right. So I do. I feel for him. I feel for his family as well as the families that he has probably now made very, not even made, but the families that are now in grief because of his grief.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, numerous.
Yeah, and prayers just go out to all of them as a whole. Because, it's... in America's eyes, it's unforgivable, just like you said. But I think knowing the hurt from him and understanding why he hurt others will help you, I guess, get better closure on what happened and why it happened.
And I don't know the context, but I also want to, I kind of want to say to the girl who he had been with, he's saying that she drove me crazy. It's not your fault that, I don't know the context of the relationship, so I don't want to say it's not your fault or it is your fault or anything like that. But, he made his decisions regardless, so his decisions are not your fault. Now, however the relationship went, that's something totally different, even though it's connected. But just as far as what he did is not on you, no matter how much he tried to make it sound like it was your fault.
Yeah.
Those are his poor decisions and the things that happened to him prior to you meeting him. I don't know. Maybe she was emotionally abusive. Maybe she was physically abusive. You never know. And I would say, maybe that is your fault. You know what I mean? That's why I kind of don't want to say it is or isn't, because I really don't know.
Yeah.
If she was beating the shit out of him every day and then he went crazy and started to gamble, maybe she took money from him and beat the shit out of him and did other stuff to him, and then now he's like, I got to gamble to make money, and then gambling and losing, and he's like, now I have no options.
He reiterated the loss.
Yeah. We know how loss affects people. You were just talking about that earlier. Mm-hmm. People with multiple losses and never really process that stuff, and how they try to process them later and process them internally and be like, well, it's my fault. No, it's not your fault. But yeah, he totally tried to make that about her.
And the mom.
And mom. He did. He threw his mom in there. Whatever her name was, I forget.
I just remember Joy.
Yeah.
But see, that's what I meant by ownership, because I understand that you're hurting, but sometimes we do need to take ownership. But at that point, he was not stable enough to do that. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So, like you said, we don't know the context of the relationship. We don't.
Yeah. We
don't know that. It's almost like a battered woman, somebody who's constantly dealing with domestic violence. You just never know. Went off because if I was getting my ass beat every day, I think I would go off too.
Yeah.
And those are women. It's funny because I'm watching the documentary. A lot of women are in jail because of that. Because of the retaliation on the man who continuously beat them.
Interesting.
It's interesting. I wanted to look and do a little bit more research, but I seen a documentary on it at one point in time. It was a while ago.
Matter of fact, heavy.com, I just Googled this. Maggie Green, Steve Stevens' mother. 5 fast facts you need to know. Now, I don't even know if we actually really need to know these facts, but let's find out exactly what these 5 fast facts are. Green told CNN her son was mad at his girlfriend before the murder. Okay. So, he was mad at his girlfriend, so I guess they actually were together. Stevens also blamed his behavior on Green. Okay, we knew that. Mm-hmm. Number 3, Green studied nursing at a community school in Cleveland. So maybe that was the Brook, whatever the name of the place was, where he's a case manager.
The Beachbrook? Brook Beach?
Brook something. I want to say Brookstone, but I forget.
No, it's not Brookstone. That's the store.
Is it? I have no idea. It's Cracker Barrel? Cracker Barrel?
It has really good breakfast.
That's what I heard, but I've never been there.
Yeah, I don't even eat breakfast, but they're the only ones I eat that breakfast from.
That was called breakfast.
I said breakfast.
I thought it was called breakfast.
No.
Hey, you want to get breakfast?
No.
No?
That sounds stupid.
My bad, that sounds good. Green's brother died unexpectedly in 2014. Well, let's see. Why does that matter? Green's older brother, Stevens' uncle, Woody G. Stevens Jr., died unexpectedly from... Oh, older brother and his uncle. Okay. From a heart attack on January 28th. Wait, Green... Oh, Green's older brother, Maggie. Okay. Got it. On January 28, 2014, the obituary, he was 53 years old when he died, leaving behind Green and his other sister, Sandra Carson. Whitty was a reverend at the church in the Cleveland area and was the nephew of a pastor, Leon Ross. Is that... in a post with the picture above, the above picture in Facebook, Green paid tribute to her late brother on his birthday in September 2015. She has posted numerous other things with captions saying how much she misses him and she was mentored by him. Okay, I don't know if that really is... That doesn't really matter. And it does say number 5, Green's faith is something that she's passionate about. So this is very clickbaity stuff. This is not really in-depth analysis, but it's heavy.com, so...
But is it relevant to why...
Exactly. I don't think... Think number 4 was not relevant at all. So after hearing that she's, got faith, and I'm assuming Christians are her pastor and stuff like that,
it's not
what does that have to do with anything? Well, Christians are mean to their kids. Oh, stop. So we're just 5 fast facts that really just did not matter. Really. But yeah, I mean, we've kind of gone on and on about this, but ultimately, I mean, if you know someone needs help, get them help. It doesn't mean you need to do the help for them. It doesn't mean you need to become their therapist or their psychiatrist or their clinician. Call. There's a 1-800 number. Hold on. National Suicide number. What is this? All right, right now, National Suicide Prevention Lifeline. 1-800-273-8255. 1-800-273-8255. National Suicide Prevention Lifeline. If you're going through some stuff or you know someone's going through some stuff, try to find a way to call and help them out. Get them some kind of help. Call 911 if you need to. You just do what you need to do to get them the help that they need, because trying to ignore them or just tell them to pull themselves up by the bootstraps is not helping. Don't give them a "you can go do it" speech. Stop. Just comfort them. They need comfort. If that means get into your feelings and let them get into their feelings, then so be it. But just stop being a prick. Next topic. In the WWE the last few weeks, yes, this is relevant because I know it's not really about wrestling, but just about the way you guys think, so just bear with me. In the WWE the last few weeks, there are 2 commentators on screen. One's kind of a jerk, the other one's a nice guy. But in real life, the jerk has been known to be a jerk for over 20 years, razzing people. What is the other word that they do? They do, not initiations, where they hazing people. Mm-hmm. Taking someone's passport and hiding it so they can't travel when they were from a foreign country, or they were traveling from a foreign country back home. Taking someone's luggage or all their stuff, their bags, and putting them across the street. Come on, dude.
That's not okay.
You can hide it in the table next to us. Okay, you got me. Across the street? It took a lot of effort. Leave me alone.
A lot of planning.
Yeah,
too much.
Do you have better stuff to do? These various stories came out way before this other story came out in the last couple of weeks. And so these things have been around for years, And then you hear about this one WWE commentator, Mauro Ranallo, who came over to WWE, I believe, just last year. People were very excited about him because he's got a lot of charisma, which is great. Excuse me, very good for the WWE because they needed that. He comes over, he's doing a great job. He got Commentator of the Year this past year, and apparently he tweeted out something about, I just got Commentator of the Year from the Wrestling Observer, and the Wrestling Observer magazine is not very fond of WWE overall. But for one guy from WWE to get an award from it, the other on-air character who's kind of a jerk, JBL, John Bradshaw Layfield, retweeted him and just said, I don't know, he kind of like took a dig at him. But here's the thing with Mauro Ranallo, he is not only just like a nice guy, but he also, as far as I know, but he also has bipolar depression. So you're going to dig at somebody who has a mental health issue, and he's open about that. And now this is the thing, people don't know about mental health because obviously they're not therapists, they're not psychiatrists, so they don't really know stuff. But it's just one of those things like, okay, you're doing too much. I had to tell somebody today, I'm like, okay, you can stop digging at me now. I was done. I was really done. I was like, I've seen you 3 times a day, and the 3 things you've said to me have been digs. I'm good, And I kind of wished, I don't know if he did this or not, he could have or should have said that to this other guy, right? And say, hey, dude, I'm good. You do it a lot. I'm done. I'm just trying to do my job and go home. I know we're not friends. I know it's an on-air thing. You got to do your thing. But after that, we're not on air anymore, so you can stop being a dick. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know if that happened. I don't know if he went to HR and said, hey, this dude won't leave me alone. I guess there was a recent segment on a special that they had, and the dude was taking digs at him again. And so it's just like dig after dig after dig. And whether they're serious or not, but maybe using truth in a joke is almost like, well, maybe, like, now we're smearing the lines even more. And wrestling always does it. They always smear the line between truth and reality. They fake injuries sometimes and pretend like people are going to hospitals. And then you're like, well, is it this time? I've seen real injuries happen. I'm like, but did that really happen?
No, it's true.
A lot of smoke and mirrors. And so he didn't show up, Mauro Ranallo, for like 2 or 3 weeks straight, and people were like, oh, it must be the weather in New York. I know it was like super cold and like hella snow. I think it was like back in February even. And then WrestleMania happened in April. He wasn't there for that. He missed like all these various shows and all these different dates and stuff. You're like, what's really going on? And you start hearing rumors like, hey, dude took some jabs at him and said this and did this on Twitter, and you start seeing all these different things like, oh, maybe dude's really struggling with his disorders right now. And that's probably what it is. And so I think even though no one has specified, maybe like some leaks here and there, I think any of the 2 main subjects have actually come out and said, hey, this is what happened and here's why this is whatever, And so Mauro just kind of removed everything from Twitter. Everything that was on his Twitter page about WWE, gone. No more trace of it. And then he was at a Japan show for MMA or UFC or something over the past week, and he was in Japan. And he kind of took some digs, and you couldn't tell if they were digs at this JBL dude or someone else or whatever, but it was just like, glad to be in a 2-man booth again, not 3-man, because WWE has 3-man booths, and so it's almost like but the UFC thing could have been a 3-man booth before, too. So I think he's had some problems with other people in the past. And then there was also like another dig at WWE somewhat, because this one lady he was introducing, and she was coming down. He's like, yeah, her name is such and such, and she's a former pro wrestler, but in WWE you can't say pro wrestler. You have to say entertainer or something like that, because it's not real. It's not a real sport. So he said it feels good to say that again, pro wrestler. But anyway, it's like these little things, and you're like, what is he referring to? But he was kind of referring to.
Yeah.
Right. So anyway, this whole bullying thing, Donald Trump has talked about bullying people, I think, a little bit, and maybe like a little comment, or just at least acting like a bully. Or Rex Ryan, the coach from the Buffalo Bills, is it now? Used to be on the Jets. Talked about bringing Richie Incognito, who was known for bullying when he was on the Dolphins with Jonathan Martin. And, this guy was getting bullied, and he wanted to quit football because he kept getting bullied. And Rex Ryan was like, hey, we need to bring in some bullies. And like, what? No, stop with that. Because teaching kids, hey, if anyone's being a bully, you tell them to stop. You become an adult, go ahead and bully people. What's the cognitive dissonance? Like, why is that okay, right? So I like to ask Facebook. I want to get their opinions, right? Have a discussion. It doesn't always work that way.
It does not. The opinions you get may not be the opinions you want. So.
And I don't mind opinions, but then I question people sometimes, and it might sound like I'm taking a dig at them, and it may not be intended. But then if there's a previous interaction, it maybe is intended.
Yeah.
So I asked Facebook a few days ago. I said, if you get bullied for an extended period of time, is it your fault?
I'm sorry, that's not funny, but it is.
It's not funny, but it's an interesting question. What's your response?
If I get bullied for an extended period of time, is that in fact my fault?
And that's very subjective.
I think it is because it's situational.
Mm-hmm. Like extended could mean a few hours of it happening in one day. Like, okay, I've had enough and I haven't said anything. Or
is it the same person?
Mm-hmm.
Is it different ways I can go with that one? Personally, I still don't feel like bullying is ever your fault. Now, there are situational time periods. No, that's sticky though. That's really sticky because, like, I feel like if I give one point, I feel like it may be totally different for another situation.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like, is it okay to bully? Period. No, I don't think it's okay. Not at all.
Right.
However, I feel like enough is enough at some point in time, and you do need to begin to stand up for yourself, or if not stand up, at least inform people like, hey, I'm being bullied. I don't appreciate being bullied.
Mm-hmm.
I need help. Can you help me stop this? I feel like at some point you got to get to there like, hey, enough is enough.
Yes.
Absolutely. Whether it's, I don't mean enough is enough meaning I'm going to retaliate and like kill you or something. I don't mean like that, because that's the level in which we're in the times in which we're living in. Mm-hmm. Because bullying no longer is like, oh, I'm going to talk smack back to you. I'm just going to kill you and kill everybody else in the school, or kill everybody else in my workplace, or kill everybody else in the neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Or go on a killing spree.
Period, and just start killing random people. And that's the way bullying looks now. This is why I say it's situational. But then that goes back to the Steven Stevenson guy.
Mm-hmm.
How long has he been dealing with his issues?
Yeah.
So, and that's almost like, we say depression is anger turned inward.
Mm-hmm.
So, I wonder what bullying becomes. I wonder what bullying becomes for that individual.
Mm-hmm.
Because then no longer the anger's turned inward, it's turned outward now. Because now I'm just going to try and kill everybody who's ever said any little thing to me.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I said it's situational, in the simple fact that I don't think it's okay. And enough is enough. But you just better hope that enough is enough is coming from a sane and sober mind. Because enough is enough can turn out to be
too much.
Yeah. I was about to say San Bernardino. We in here just shooting people up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
The school shit last week.
Yeah.
That was just, and I'm glad I didn't talk about that, because it really would have upset me. I mean, I work with kids, and I don't want to hear about kids dying because somebody lost their cool or went on a psychotic break or whatever. It's funny, in the last 2 weeks we've had 2 black dudes go on a killing spree. Well, one's a killing spree, the other one's not, but definitely both people were just off. Definitely off.
I'm telling you, mental illness runs deep. I can only imagine how much mental illness is in the jail system.
Yeah.
And it's being masked.
Mm-hmm. It's being criminalized. Some responses here from Effie. Never. David, he says, if it persists, it absolutely is. At some point, you need to punch someone in the teeth and tell them to STFU. David is a gangster, and he gets like of the day. Jackie says no. Brittany says, once you become fully aware and don't do anything to get help or get yourself out of the situation, I think it is. What do you say to that?
But see, that's a situational statement.
Okay.
That's where, because then even that gets questioned. I feel like a philosopher right now, because even that becomes a question, because it's just like,
there's always a question. Yeah.
Yeah, like, so what deems them stable enough to be able to fully articulate how they feel about being bullied? You get what I'm saying? Or even if they know that that's what's going on with them, like, or, I mean, because somebody's saying something, but some people you really don't, I don't think they really clearly get it, or are afraid to even speak up about it. So it's just like, how do you say, okay, that's your fault then? Because it's just like, well, I'm afraid. I feel like if I say something, this person's going to bully me more.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because I've heard kids say that, you know, if I tell my parents, or, you know, because my parents are going to tell their parents, and then that kid's going to come to school and bully me even more because now I told my mom and their parents told me not to do that. So now I'm mad because I got in trouble for it, so I'm just going to bully the kid even more.
Yeah.
You know, so it's always a reverse effect. Not all the time. But there's a reverse effect that happens sometimes. So it's just like, even then with that's situational.
Yeah. And her response, so I said, in my response to her was, I said, so at some point they deserve it, which isn't what she said, but I was kind of just, I was trying to pull out more. I wasn't trying to say this is what you're saying, but it was just almost like a, yeah, it's like, so at some point, basically, if you're not doing anything, you kind of just, well, you're brought it on yourself now, essentially, which is kind of what I was saying, but maybe I just said it the wrong way.
Yeah, it was a fishing rod there.
Yeah, and then she said, I never said that. Ever.
She took the bait. But yeah.
Well, I was just engaging with her. Yeah, so it wasn't any kind of anything other than that. But she said, all I'm saying is, if someone is fully aware and doesn't do anything to stop it or get help or speak up and continues to get bullied, then yes, that person is no longer a victim but shares the responsibility. See, that to me, I don't know. It's like, now it's your fault that someone's doing something to you. Mm-hmm. But it was their choice to do that to you. Mm-hmm. And then it becomes, well, then it was your choice to not do anything about it.
I need to know the time frame in which she's referring to.
Okay, because, yeah, it's all very subjective. I could be thinking 6 days, 6 months, 6 years. She'd be like, 16 days. You know, it just, you never know. Yeah. You know, she goes on this part, and she says, the wife is getting beat by her husband, and she knows she's being abused, fully aware, which can take a lot of time to realize. And she doesn't seek help, and is unable to stop it herself, then she is enabling her husband to abuse. Okay. Therefore, it becomes her fault as well that nothing is being done to get her out of that situation. Or if she tells someone and doesn't listen to that advice that can help her because she doesn't want to, and it continues to let it happen, it becomes her fault. It becomes pure insanity. Yeah, because when abuse happens, the brain changes, and it's no longer the same brain anymore. I took your answer. I take your answer. I'm sorry.
No, it's part of the answer. It's just my face, as you was reading, I was like...
Yeah, I saw you shaking.
I was like... Because, okay, we can't... Okay. I will say this.
Stop having your boyfriend
We cannot... That's Priscilla. We cannot make blanket statements like that when you are not in tune with the mental health field. Mm-hmm. That is a mental health crisis. You know, domestic violence is very, very much mental health. If you have been, and then we're talking bullying versus being beat up on. Because bullying doesn't necessarily have to be physical. And people keep forgetting that. But we're talking someone who's continuously getting beat on. Could be physical. Could be that plus verbal. Emotionally. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're constantly getting beat on. You're right. Exactly what I'm saying. The brain changes. You don't know what was modeled in front of her. I keep going back to that. You don't know the messages that was given to her. You don't know what that person, guy or girl, has grew up in. You don't know. And the thing is that you become immune to that. So you getting beat makes you feel like that's what a healthy relationship is.
Yeah.
And you don't know any different. Now, granted, it's people who are AKA normal, because that's relative too, you know, in our right minds, and I'm using air quotes on that one, in our right minds, we want to just be like, well, you stupid as hell. Why are you letting that guy beat the hell up on you? Or why are you letting her beat the hell up on him?
I've heard somebody say it to somebody before. I'm like, you don't even understand.
But you don't get it because it's deeper than them just physically abused, physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally. It's deeper than that. Yeah. It's deeper than that. And to tell somebody, well, you know, it's your fault now because you just getting your ass beat every single day. You deserve it because you stupid as hell. I got her statement. To make a point, I wouldn't have used that, especially if I was incorrect as far as what that, because that was a sheer statement based off of her opinion and not being in that situation.
Right.
That was completely based off of just I would have did.
I kind of wonder. Maybe she wasn't, because I think I had someone tell me this before. This is like a year or two ago. She was talking to me about a friend of hers, person I was just referring to. A friend of hers who had been she had been beaten by her man, and then after that relationship had ended, started doing drugs or something like that. Like was hiding drugs in the house and was smoking weed, but then hid it from the kids in a closet, and then the house burned down because she forgot that she put it there. And so she's like, she's stupid for, and I get it. Yeah, obviously you don't want to be doing drugs around your kids, but I give her credit for at least putting it somewhere.
Yeah.
But just I don't give her credit for, obviously forgetting and then the house burning down and having issues from there. So she was just kind of laying into her, through me, even though the situation already happened. So I'm trying to explain to her, I'm like, what happens after someone is abused domestically, then they change. Like everything about them changes, just, if person A goes through it and they're able to fight back or leave as soon as it happens, I have a feeling like if you were to ever get slapped, you'd be like, nigga, first of all, right back at you and get out of my house.
I would.
Yeah, exactly.
But everybody's different.
Exactly. And there's some women who would take it and be like, okay, I probably deserve that. I know a few who, just knowing their character and their demeanor, I think they would take it. And that sucks because no one should ever take that. I've known women who have been beaten by their men or whatever, and I would never wish that on anyone. But not everyone responds to things all the same because your brain changes and who you are changes. You're no longer the same person.
And people don't understand that.
Right. And it's almost like we have a cheat sheet. I think I said it last week too. It's we have a cheat sheet to a degree, and people have their opinions. And I'm not trying to blast her and be like, oh, no, you're stupid. No, I'm not saying that at all.
Don't compare the two.
Yeah, because it's not the two. You don't do things the same way someone else would, and the way someone else does them isn't the way you would do them. You might do some things wrong. It doesn't make you, responsible for what's happening to you. It just means that that's just how you reacted. If someone comes in here and starts shooting, I might freeze. And you might be like, nope, I'm out, and you would be the hell out of here. And I might freeze, and someone might say, no.
Fight, flight, or freeze.
Exactly, but see, people don't understand that.
Yeah, everybody is different.
We're such pretentious black therapists. Yes, we are.
So super pretentious. No, it's just the more I think if everyone in the world understood the mental health field a little bit more, we would have a lot more sympathy and empathy for people. That does not mean we deal with their shit. That does not mean we justify. And that does not mean we accept. But at the end of the day, you begin to understand. And that's where we miss out. Because we don't understand. And when we don't understand, we're afraid. And we make statements that are inaccurate because we're not willing to look up the right information. There we go. That sounds good.
You're so smart. Well, I will say this turned into an argument at some point, as some of my posts do. And they turn into an argument because someone will call somebody else out or post something that is, or respond to someone with a little kind of a dig, a subtle dig or a not so subtle dig. And one person said, Sean said, if you're discriminated against for a long period of time, is it your fault? No, it's not. If people aren't going to hire you because you're black or a woman or Latino or whatever.
I like how we go to different points.
Yeah, it's
domestic violence, discrimination.
It's what my posts are going to be about.
We hitting emotional topics here.
Yeah.
Not just physical.
But exactly, it's like, if something's happening to you, it's not your fault that it happened to you unless you actually did it. Like if the house burns down because I was pouring gasoline into my house and lit the shit on fire, then that's my fault. Yeah. That's my fault, right? Yeah. But if something is happening to me because someone else did it, that's their fault. Don't make me responsible for their actions. I'm not responsible for their actions. And so one person who has now since deleted me, this is a dude I grew up with, but we weren't friends. I mean, we were friends growing up, right?
But not now.
Right. No, he's a strong Trump supporter, and I'm sure he probably thinks Trump is God. And if he doesn't think so, he at least acts like it because, Trump never gets critiqued. And that's from the Republican side. So, yeah, it's interesting. But, yeah, he said, yes, it is your fault. And so Sean replied and said, $100 says Joe, that was the guy's name. Joe is both white and a conservative / Republican. So it became racial and political
all at the same time.
Very quick. But Sean's a white dude. So you can't blame Black Lives Matter for this one. And Joe says, here we go, LOL. Sean says, was I right? Joe says, no. He says, well, I am white. He said, so Sean says, you're a liberal, question mark. Victim blaming isn't really a liberal thing, which can go to the if a woman is wearing sexy shorts and you can see her titties and that doesn't give you the right to grab them.
No.
Doesn't give you the right to say anything to her. Doesn't give you the right to rape her. Doesn't give you the right to do anything other than you can look. Because it's a free country, you can look anywhere you want.
It's a free country, and that's overutilized.
And I'm gonna look. And I might oogle. I'm not gonna whistle at you, you know, out loud. I might pretend like I'm going to, be like, yeah, it doesn't work. I can't do it. But it sure looks funny trying to do it. But yeah, it's not your fault something happened to you. Jen Rose says, absolutely not. And she has a little story. She says, I'm actually dealing with this issue with my youngest. And it's not his fault. He can't physically harm another person to stand up for himself. He just doesn't have it in him. I'm kind of like that too. I'm not going to fight somebody because they make me mad. If that were the case, I'd have been in jail years ago in high school for another story I'm going to tell you in a few minutes.
Oh wow! I was going to say no, but not everybody is stable enough to not retaliate in that form.
Right. Or they're unstable enough to not retaliate and then take it and be like, yeah, I deserve it.
And and then continue to get walked on. Or
she says they do become targets, and as much as I wish my kid could sock someone in the jaw, he's just not capable of doing it. He doesn't deserve it. He's the sweetest kid on the planet. And I say a big F you to anyone who says that they do deserve it. If a kid has a sweet soul and is non-violent, then praise the Lord for a decent human being in these times of assholery and douchebaggery. She got 7 likes. That was more than my actual original post, which got 1
but he would be
by the creepy guy.
Only like
I know. My Facebook page could have a chapter. Just each, like various top posts could be chapters. A year in the life of KJ from OC online or something. I don't know.
I started saving certain posts that I have because I was like, oh, these are nice. All my archive ones.
You should.
Because you don't realize that you're teaching your future self. Does that make sense?
No, go.
So remember a while ago you was just like, man, I wrote these songs and I didn't know I was going to go through this and da-da-da-da-da. I felt like I was like, well, I look back at some of my posts and I say, oh my God. It's almost like deja vu. And me and my pastor had this conversation. My pastor from back home in Philadelphia, Aaron Smallwood, shout out to you. A conversation about deja vu. And we came up with the conclusion maybe deja vu is, because they always say you've been here before. And it's more so your spirit was probably here, but now your flesh is catching up. And it sounds creepy, but I say that to say sometimes you're ahead of yourself. Things is said, and then you look back at it and be like, oh my God, was I helping my future self? Was I giving myself, teaching myself something that I had to go through later on? You know, it's like I'm learning from my past posts about my future self.
It's funny. There's actually a Tupac line I was going to use for a song. I think it's White Man's World. He said, Mama, why do you keep on calling me nigga? Get my weight up with my hate, pay him back when I'm bigger. And my mom and I went through a situation where I'm sure I was called the N-word several times in elementary, junior high, high school. I definitely got my weight up since then. I wouldn't say it was because of my hate. Actually, depression, yeah, so internalized hate, you know. And then pay him back when I'm bigger. I've been paying him back for the last year and a half.
See?
And I was going to use that line from his song for a chorus. Mama, why they keep on calling me? Put my weight up with my hate and pay him back when I'm bigger. Mom, and that was going to play in the background, you know. Telling my future self. And that's a song I never even did. Didn't even write it. But it was in here.
Look at that.
Never mind.
No, I was deep in, okay. In the words of Brad, I'm gonna say I wasn't thinking, I was feeling. Shout out to Brad at Hope International University, and I believe it was Brad. Please let it be Brad. But yeah, it was Brad.
And then Jill responds and then deletes me shortly thereafter. Says, "This is why I don't waste time commenting on your posts anymore. It truly is a waste of my time. I'm stuck in my truck at my son's baseball game during thunderstorms. Thought I'd give a simple opinion, but now here's a part where your tolerant friends show their true colors. I'm out." Okay, tolerant, that's very conservative comment about the left. And the people who replied to this that are perceived lefties are not lefties. They're just not righties. You know what I'm saying? So we're not liberals, we're not Democrats. None of us voted for Hillary, and none of us sure as hell didn't vote for Trump. You know, because it's just like that's the uneducated vote. That y'all
uneducated.
Hey,
like
real
down south redneck Bamas with
real
no
talk.
teeth.
Not everyone who voted for him was uneducated. I'm not saying that, but people who are really uneducated voted for him. But anyway, so I asked him. I replied to him. I said, "Do you feel discriminated against?" I've been told to suck it up. Tolerant is something that they never claimed to be. Tolerant for looking different, yes. Tolerant of ideas, no. And he never replied. Because he deleted me shortly thereafter.
Sour grapes.
And a couple hours later, I was like, guess who deleted me? Oh, yeah, it was kind of funny. And someone jumped in, and I'm not going to say his name because he also deleted me too. I actually like the guy. I just don't like how he handled this. And he and I, it is what it is. But he also deleted me because he jumped in and said, and I quote, and I'm just going to read it. I actually agree with this guy on this one. The guy answered a simple question, and then someone replied with his race. Ridiculous. You know me, and I know you, and I have love for you and your posts, but this is an example of why I slowly am starting to pass these posts. Every time someone tries to comment, which is what you're asking for, your same friends become, geez, in this case, bullies. And no need for any of you to comment. I'm too tired to read any more of you taking a subject and making it about your agenda. I don't care for an argument, just shedding some insight from a friend. I hit like because I do see sometimes the posts definitely turn left or extremely right or whatever, whatever direction. It's almost like it's off track. But in this context, it looks like the dude Joe was bullied. Mm-hmm. But if you look at other posts where he's jumped in, maybe he did some bullying himself.
Yeah.
So now it's like, well, he might be the victim here, which is what I texted dude afterwards after he deleted me. I was like, hey, he looked like a victim here, but you didn't see the post where he was jumping on other people.
Yeah.
And calling them, you know what I'm saying? So
hurt people.
Exactly. And it's not, and so I'm exposing hypocrisy. I exposed hypocrisy about Barack Obama, you're for the people, but then dapple. Mm-hmm. Or, what about Flint, Michigan? And they still ain't got no damn water. Mm-hmm. Like, these things happened during your presidency, now they've rolled over to Trump. It's not Trump's fault. But I'm just saying, sure he's not going to take care of it. But still, it's like, I'm calling out hypocrisy. If you're for the people, then show us that you're for the people. I understand gay rights and marriage, that's great for them. What about people having just water? Or their land? Can we get some of that? Just saying. But anyway, so
I agree.
Bam responded, buzzwords, race and agenda, conservative, foundational rebuttals, no? Consider bullying daily. Having remarks made about you regarding people in cities you've never been to, people remarking you speak so articulate, in quotes, being followed around a store, though you're irregular and being followed unbeknownst to you until you start put things together. Consider that. Consider people who live out their existence with silent tears because of preconceived judgment, wanting to cry out on the outside, but unable to in a world that seems bent upon breaking you at every turn, maybe even stereotyping you being on food stamps. Like a woman recently in Irvine. They thought she was on food stamps. We're going to give her some free bags because they thought she was on food. She's not on food stamps.
Hot mess. And if she was,
what she thinks food stamps can't pay for a bag? It's just 10 cents.
It's just 10 cents.
Just 10 cents. Or being asked for your badge in a place you've worked at for a long time. My experience in particular, he's talking about himself. Whether you're in a tie or polo, jeans or pressed tailored slacks and dress shoes, or whether it's Beamer or a Dodge Magnum or a beat-up Pontiac I bought for $300 as my first ever car, walk in these shoes. Then ask if the internet sensitivity is really bullying. Walk that experience seeing people you learned under humiliated for no reason, that because law enforcement officers can get away with it. And that was a great point that I think this dude didn't understand, because when he replied, he said, actually, I used the word agbeda instead of agenda. Basically saying, like, he's totally off, like he's saying, I wrote a typo earlier, so don't say I used the word agenda. Dude.
We're getting that petty.
Yeah, like, come on, like, stay on topic.
He's at the petty pit house.
Yeah. No one hit like on your stuff. And he says, by the way, you are ever so good at telling people to walk in these shoes when in fact you have no clue what people have gone through. So out of your page, spare anyone your grief and stop quoting the cowboy from Toy Story with his bootstraps. Okay.
Is he in his feelings?
I can't even get into it, but because that's not fair That was a private conversation, so I'll leave it where it
We'll leave
was.
it private, yeah.
Yeah, and I do like the dude. So I don't want people to think that I don't like the dude, but I don't like how he handled this because first of all, if you're gonna jump in the forum and tell people, hey, you guys, shame on you, and say I'm not gonna reply, first of all, you shouldn't have jumped in, and then number two, if you did jump in and say I'm not gonna reply, don't reply. But he totally did, and for like a half hour, because that first one came in at 9:37.
It may in fact be flat, but sorry.
It's okay. 9:37, and it went until 10:18. So a little more, about 40 minutes, 50 minutes, something like that, whatever. 40 minutes, I can't count. But I was just disappointed because I actually liked his comment originally because, yes, conversations will absolutely take an immediate left at Albuquerque. And they shouldn't always do that, but it's a point that's being driven that's saying you can't blame someone for what happens to them. Mm-hmm. I got picked on at the high school I went to, and here's a scenario. I'm going to tell you the truth right now. And this guy became a cop later. And he's asked for forgiveness, and he's apologized for the situation that happened. And it's a cool story about forgiveness, but it's also a story about one more straw on the camel's back, too. And it was just like, God, why me? What did I do? I didn't do anything. And it wasn't my fault. So here's my scenario. Just like Morrow, not his fault. It wasn't my fault either. So anyway, freshman football, I think maybe my sophomore year, I'm not 100% sure. I kind of forget. This was a long time ago, like over 20 years ago. Playing on my football team, we have a t-ball game, or a softball game, that's what it was. We have a softball game between the freshmen and the sophomores. And I was on the freshman team. And one of the sophomores comes up to me and says to me, "You're an N, and I don't like N's. And I don't like you." This was not the first time he said anything remotely close to that. This was not the first time he said it to me or to anyone else. Dudes there the year before who were his grade, he's like, just ignore him. Yeah, but if you grew up here and that stuff, you don't really ignore that. Like, especially if the dude's in your face. I mean, the dude was a big dude, too. I mean, big for sophomore year in high school. He's probably 5'8", 5'9". Mm-hmm. Could probably bench a couple 100 pounds. I mean, played center, so you got to be strong to play center. You already know about that. And so I got tired of having been called the N-word since I was 7 or 8 years old. And by the time you're 14, 15 years old, that's 7 to 8 years of that. You're like, okay, you know what? F you. And I was going to take my line. And he had a baseball bat in his hand. Not like he was trying to... He may have said he was going to use it. I don't remember. But because we were playing softball, so of course you're going to have a baseball bat in his hand. But I'm not trying to... I'm not trying to save him from anything. I'm just saying context. He had a baseball bat in his hand. So if he was going to swing it at me, an aluminum bat, I would have had to take that. There's no way I would have stopped it. I couldn't have stopped it. But it wasn't on me that it started. And because it was so ingrained in the culture of the school I went to in the city I grew up in, telling someone didn't matter because it kept happening. Different people, but it kept happening. So if it keeps happening from different people in the same city, then it's not me. No matter how many times I say anything. I had a teacher who said stuff to me when I was a junior in high school. I had a kid say it to me. Like, I've had kids making racial comments to me when I was in elementary school. The N-word, you look like the color of poop, you're the color of shit. Like, this is just, like, are you guys serious? Who taught you about this? You know what I'm saying? Where are you hearing it? Are you hearing this at home? Mm-hmm. What kind of stuff, where's this coming from? So that dude who said those things to me sophomore year, we're good now. And it took a long time for me to really, really be good with him. Mm-hmm. Right, and I'll tell you the whole story. It's going to be a little bit of a long one, so I'll let you finish your potato salad. One of the coaches saw him coming up to me and saw the interaction. There was could see the tension. Like, what did he just say to you? And I told him what he said. And he said, "Did you say anything back to him? Did you start it at all?" I said, "No, I did not." And I did not. Absolutely did not. And I'm sure there are other people that would verify that I did not. And he said, "Okay, I'll just go on the field, go play softball. I'll take care of this." So we played softball and whatever. And after the game, the coaches came up to me and talked to me, and they completely apologized for what had happened. They didn't know it had happened because, they had to get told by another coach that this kid came up and said these things to me. And even as I'm telling this right now, I'm starting to get heated again as that 15-year-old kid.
Don't.
I'm not going to cry.
Okay.
I said heated.
No, I know.
No, I'm not going to emote.
I'm not no.
But it was just one of those things like, why me? What did I do to deserve this? I didn't deserve it. So anyway, continuing on. So the coaches all apologized. They gave me special treatment. They let me. We had a barbecue afterwards. They let me. They let me skip the line and get it first. And then people were mad. How come we can see you have it first? I'm not gonna answer them. I don't need to say, hey, he just called me to, and have a whole issue with it. But you say it in music. But anyway, so I get home. Dude calls me and apologizes. Says sorry. He said they didn't make me do this, but I said I should call and apologize. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said it. All this kind of stuff. This dude's dad worked at the school too. So it could really make him look bad. Or it could have made him look bad, like the more and more it got out. And it did get out, obviously within the team, because eventually someone says, I don't know who told, I don't know if it was me or someone else did. But
You're like, I don't know if it was me.
I don't remember, I really don't. Because it wasn't something I would go and brag about. It's not something I would go and tell all my friends.
Well, I mean, I know, no
one
would.
Well, not brag, but you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not Facebook, it's not 2017. Stop posting stuff online, KJ. Oops. I got to delete some posts. Not trying to get fired. And so I told my brother what happened. He's like, who was that on the phone? I was like, oh, this kid, he just said this, and I was mad as hell. Then he told my mom, and my mom got mad at me for not punching the guy in the face. I'm like, this is not, like, I don't want to punch anyone. I just don't. And so anyway, the rest of the school years go on. Things are fine between me and him. His dad apologized. His dad worked at the school. His brother went to the school with I was actually his brother's Spanish class, not tutor, aide.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, his brother had the same teacher I had for Spanish 1, and I was the aide for that class my senior year in high school. And his brother even apologized, and that was like 2 years ago, 3 years before. I'm like, oh, don't trip, dude. He's like, no, my family's not like that. You got to understand, like, that's just, it's like, hey, it's cool, And so, 1998, I don't even think I was 21 yet. Maybe I was, not a big deal, whatever. Driving through Costa Mesa. You were 7? I hate you. Driving through Costa Mesa. And I was with my boy, Ian J.
We talking?
Not the bottle, but an actual person. Erkinger.
Ian J. You can't say that out loud. Like, where the liquor at?
With my boy, Wild Turkey.
Wild Turkey.
But no, so we're driving through Costa Mesa, and I'm making a left-hand turn, but there was no U-turn, it said, on the sign. But I didn't see where I could actually turn left. It looked like there was a gate there, and it was locked, so I couldn't actually go in left, because I'm like, well, there's nothing I can do. And I still, to this day, I'm like, I don't know how I could have turned. I could have turned left and crashed. Then what? So I made an illegal U-turn. Yes, there was a couple cars behind me or right behind me. Bloop. As soon as I did it, bloop, lit me up, pull over. Do you know why I pulled you over? Yeah, I made an illegal U-turn. I didn't see where I could actually turn left, so I just made a U-turn, or else I would have just gone the extra, couple hundred feet and made a U-turn in the parking lot. But so he gets my license registration, legit. I deserved a ticket. Like, I knew what I did. A few minutes later, another cop comes up. And it's that dude from high school. And he's a cop now, 21, 22 years old. And he's like, what's up, fellas? Because we went to junior high together, too. What's up, fellas? Oh, long time no see. How you guys doing? What happened? Tell him what happened. Told her just honest, same story I told the other cop. And I was like, all right, let me see what I can do. I told Ian J. I said, hey, I'm not getting a ticket. He's like, why? I'm like, just wait. Just wait. I guarantee you I'm not getting a ticket. And he came back. Have a good night. Gave me back my license registration, and I was on my merry way. And I told him why I didn't get a ticket. And he was like, yeah, you weren't going to get a ticket. And I've seen that dude, that cop, the guy I went to high school with. I've seen him at church. I've seen him in a restaurant. I've seen him at the bar I worked at, one of the bars I used to work at. And every time I've seen him, I always make it a point to say hello. Because when you see someone at church, if you're going to carry a grudge from 10 plus years ago, 15 plus years ago, it's time to let that go. Especially if they apologize and they have not done anything near what had happened before. You need to let that go with him. Maybe all the other stuff, okay, I understand, it's not closed yet, but when did you get the closure? When did you create that closure, at least for yourself?
To forgive.
Exactly. And it was really hard to forgive.
That's when people begin to take ownership over your life.
When you let them.
Yeah, when you let them.
Yeah. And so, as that, so I see him at church. I say hello to him and his wife. I think they have kids. I'm not sure. I see him at a restaurant. Say hello. I make sure to say hello. Then I saw him at the bar I worked at. And he used to work with the manager I had. The manager I had used to be a cop. And he was telling the manager the story. And he was telling the story about Costa Mesa. So the high school story and Costa Mesa. My manager was finding out. And I knew what they were talking about just because I see them looking at me and then looking back. And I'm like, well, I'll have to address it at some point tonight. But it was one of those things. I was in a much better place spiritually and emotionally, obviously, than I was when I was 15.
Yeah.
So where I could, he and I just sat there and chatted for a minute. And I'm sure he was definitely tipsy, which is fine. It was a bar. It's fine. But he said, I couldn't give you a ticket that night because I felt like I owed you. And I said, I know you felt like that. I had a feeling you felt like that. And I said, but you don't owe me, and I forgave you a long time ago for that. And I said, I might have to keep forgiving you over and over and over again, but you don't have to carry that anymore. And that was hard for me to say because it wasn't just him. It was everything that's happened before him and everything that had happened up to that day as well. Because I've been called that name a number of times. Who aren't even, so how does this keep happening, right? For me not provoking things and turning them into situations. So when people say you deserve bullying if it's happening to you, like, I didn't tell my coach. My coach came over to me and saw that obviously something was bothering me. Maybe it's on other people to see what's going on and be a loving human and help stop some stuff that's happening. Yeah, you want to, help people, pull themselves up by the bootstraps, and maybe they need a partner with that. In supervision today, I think we were talking, or maybe training, I can't remember what it was, talking about you don't need someone to tell you how to do it or make you do it. You partner with them as they do it. And that's the thing I don't think we have enough of, which is empathy, right? We don't have enough of that patience to really just stand with someone while they're doing something and maybe doing it wrong. Just like, hey, just stand with me while I try to figure this out. Don't tell me I'm doing it wrong. Just help me do it. Show me what to do. Like, point, okay, do this. Okay, whatever it is. And help me figure it out. And so, so for someone to say you deserve bullying if it happens to you, that's like saying just you deserve abuse or you deserve discrimination. That's BS to me. That's absolute BS to me, and I don't accept that. And whatever's happening to you is someone else's fault. That's their actions against you. And that was a long story, but it was very intense.
It was.
Yeah. And so, I lost 2 Facebook friends that I'm not very close to.
Well.
And one dude was just really missing the point of the argument. Like, the first dude saying, I don't want to get in your post anymore because people, aren't tolerant of an idea. Like, no, you don't have to be tolerant of a freaking idea. We're tolerant of people. We're not attacking white people or gay people or black people or anything like that.
Tolerant of an idea.
Yeah, like, why do I have to tolerate ideas? Like, oh, I see you're a Nazi. Oh, that's okay with me. You just do your thing. Make sure not to kill me, okay? Like, no, that's dumb, right? It's dumb. And for the other dude to say, shame on all of you guys, I'm not going to argue with you, but then to argue with people, I'm disappointed. Because who are you to tell everyone, shame on you? You do the same thing.
I'm so confused.
It was such an interesting evening. And there were numerous text messages and instant messages as I'm face palming right now.
People, you have to see his face right now. Like, you have to see.
I'm laughing now, but
the
before
disappointment.
I really was. I really was disappointed. And there are text messages and IMs that went back and forth between me and a couple of people in that conversation. Just how I was just like, he could have just moved on and not said anything. You don't have to blame me or blame the people who are responding for why you feel like you have to respond. You're down here from, but do what other people do and ignore it. You know what I'm saying?
I think we can't. As humans, there's an innate instinct in us to feel like we always have to say something. Whether it's right or wrong, whether it requires us to even utter a word, we still just feel like, well, gotta say it. And just because. I'm not gonna argue with you, but I'm gonna argue with you. I'm not gonna say it, but I'm gonna say it.
Someone told me, God, who was I talking to yesterday? I was talking to someone over the phone. Oh, first of all, last night, me and my boy, Mike Cambra plays drummer for several bands, including Death by Stereo. Very popular. One of my old group home kids has said he loved that group. And I was like, I know the drummer. Swear to God, I have his number in my phone. You know, I've known the dude for now 10 years. That's who I was having dinner with last night. But he said he was arguing with somebody when Huntington Beach had the pro-Trump rally after the election. Stupid. What a waste of time. A few weeks ago. And people in that rally are waving Nazi flags. Or a white power flag, or German nationalist, whatever, which is like, Germany isn't even here. This is America, motherfucker. We're closer to Mexico, baby. Waving that flag and calling people the N-word and using the F-word for gay people. Like, that's just, obviously, you've aligned yourself with some other type of thinking and behavior than you think you have, right? So he got into an argument with somebody, and they were, like, messaging him, and he's like, messaging the magnet. After some point, he was just like, all right, that's enough. Just stop. Just leave me alone. And he blocked him. Person made a new account and started messaging him again, and then blocked him so he couldn't respond. I was like, are you serious? That is the ultimate level of petty. Like, that is like, are you serious?
He's at that penthouse. I'm telling you, the petty penthouse.
Wow.
There's a lot of people that belong up there.
Dog. I was like, wow.
Who does that? You went all the way out of your way
to have another account.
To make another account to do that.
That's when you have to make another account and be like, all right, I one-upped you. And here's the responses to both of yours. You know, but anyway.
So stupid. I've never heard of no stuff like that. That's
really
so
was.
dumb.
It really was.
The petty penthouse. That's what I call it, the petty penthouse.
I actually have to might have to take Mike's name out of this because he didn't get permission to use that story.
That's funny.
But yeah, people are so disappointing. It really is. I don't hate them.
You sound like me last week. It's so disappointing.
I'm just, really, guys, you couldn't have handled that better. Like, even when you felt like, for the first dude, Joe, to come up and say, you know, oh, here we go. Okay, you could have stopped there instead of responding more and more.
But you didn't have to respond at all.
He didn't. After someone called him out and said, are you white? You are pro-Trump.
Here's my thing, and I've learned over the years too, especially on Facebook. Just because you have the right to give your opinion doesn't mean it's necessary. You know, it's not necessary. That's what they fail to tell you in American society. Yes, it's land of the free, home of the brave, all that other crap. But at the end of the day, that does not mean just because it's freedom of speech, you get to say whatever you want and it's okay.
And not have
backlash. Exactly, and not have backlash that comes with it. You don't get to eat your cake. You know, have your cake and eat it too. Excuse me. You don't get to just say whatever you want and don't have nobody comment on that. Okay, your opinion is your opinion, but don't make it a fact. And my whole thing is that if you have an idea, somebody else is going to have an idea too. That doesn't make you right, or that doesn't make the other person right. Yeah. But don't get upset if something is being said and you just want to begin to just say, you know what? I gotta retaliate. I gotta clap back. I have to clap back. No, you don't.
Ja Rule.
Yeah, exactly.
We're gonna clap back. We're gonna clap back. We're gonna clap back. Let's get ready to rumble. Stupid.
I know. But like, you don't have to do that. And I feel like we make it as if like we have to do that. Tell you the 3 N's, just like my dance instructor told me. Is it nice? Is it needed? And is it necessary? And if it don't hit any of those 3, it doesn't even need to be said. It just doesn't.
Absolutely. And I misquoted Ja Rule. It's actually, let's take him to war ends. My bad. So this led into another topic, another day, which I almost feel like I shouldn't have even got into because the other one just turned into what it turned into. Woo! I said, if you bully people and then get bullied because of that, is that on you?
Okay.
Yes, karma's a B. Karma's a B. According to that was a stupid comment. He was just being silly. No, because no one deserves to be bullied. Trump does. It's just it just perpetuates the problem. Like the guy Richie Incognito from the Bills who wanted to make the other dude retire and quit. Like he just kept bugging him. If people started bullying Richie Incognito because he was bullying someone else, well, yeah, you kind of deserved it. You know, you brought it on yourself. You really did. You know, and it's only specific to if it's because you were bullying someone else. That's why you're getting bullied.
Yeah.
So I did a horrible thing in junior high. I made fun of this girl for a while. Me and this other dude. Him first, then for various reasons and whatever. And it was like this little triangle of making fun of going on in class. But I didn't have any ill will towards her at all. I was like, oh, we're just having fun. Then she cried in class. I felt so bad. I was like, I'm sorry. Stop crying. I don't want to get detention. Stop crying. Stop fucking crying. No, I'm kidding. But I felt so bad. But if I got bullied, well, see, because I wasn't bullying her. I didn't mean it. You know what I'm saying? Like, was what I was saying true as far as the references I was giving? Yes. But was there any actual malice behind what I was saying? Absolutely not. Because I thought it was just a joking thing going back and forth.
Now, what if some bullies who bullied you thought the same thing?
That what?
It was no malice intended. And it was just...
from them to me?
Yeah. And I was just joking.
It really...
The N-word, no, you're not just joking about that.
Yeah,
But
that's
I'm
not
just,
funny.
Now, that is not a joke. But I just
Yeah.
mean like anything else.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, you're buck-toothed. I was buck-toothed. you have a zit. I had a zit in the middle of my forehead in 8th grade that looked like an extra eye.
I used to always get a little buck-toothed.
It was horrible. But see, that's the thing is like, I think you have to make it about something that isn't. But see, that's the thing with joking is you're gonna find something that they're gonna be weak about. You know. Mm-hmm. But yeah, the N-word, you know, any slurs, okay, we're not using those. Let's keep those off the table. Mm-hmm. Those really aren't funny. Let's keep it about other stuff, you know, whatever. I don't know. I don't think I've ever bullied anyone because of... I think once I felt bad about it, I think that's where it becomes, okay, now we can leave you alone. Like, do you feel bad about it? And if you don't feel like bad about it,
then,
well, you kind of got what was coming to you. And that's unfortunate. Oh. But next time, don't bully people. But a lot of people said yes, in context to, if you bully someone and then it happens to you because you're bullying someone, that's on you. Eric says, hell yes. But chances are you are bullying for other reasons not expressed vocally. So maybe, oh my God, I got to show you this video. Oh my God, Key and Peele, you guys know how much I do not like them. We're going to watch this Key and Peele sketch real quick.
Am I a bully?
Yes, you are.
For saying none.
Why you reading, bitch? Because I like to read, and this is a really good book. You're a really good bitch. Bitch. Why you gotta bother me, man? Because I'm not doing very well at school. I'm reading at a 3rd grade level. I really don't want to get left back. So when I see somebody reading for fun, it makes me feel that much more stupid. And then I get mad. I didn't know that. Thanks so much for opening up to me. Shut up, queer. I understand. Why you gotta go there? I've been having sexual fantasies about some of the other guys at school. What? Give me that. I'm afraid of these feelings and what they might mean. It's like because I hate myself so much, I gotta point that hate outward, towards you. You understand this on such a deep level that I don't understand. Now I'm gonna punish you physically for acknowledging my emotional problems. Wait, I was gonna say, if you understand yourself so well, then maybe you should try working on changing it. Of course I want to change it. But it's the only defense mechanism I have against deeper, more terrifying problems buried inside of me. Lucky my dad's here. Get the damn truck, son. I need to take you home and beat on you because I hate myself. And you look like your mother who left me. And I'm gonna block out the guilt I feel over mistreating you with the river of vodka. I'm gonna internalize that and unknowingly transfer it onto you tomorrow. Coming reluctantly.
That's my dude, though, the one driving the van. I'm in the truck. I like him.
Dog. How deep
That was true, though.
I mean, I'm making fun of the way you read because I don't read very well. I'm calling you gay because I have issues with my own sexuality. You know, like everything I'm making fun of you for is because I have an issue with it myself. Wow.
It's actually pretty deep. It's pretty good.
And then, yeah, it's one of the very few that I will ever show anyone as a really good sketch.
Because that slave one.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
Lord of mercy.
Lord of mercy.
Every time somebody say that, I'm like, Lord of mercy. It's like, where did that come
Trouble.
from? Like,
Trouble.
where did that come from?
Pick up, pick up.
Boyaka, boyaka.
But then with the father too in the truck saying, you know, you remind me of your mother who left me. Like your mother.
That's true.
I wonder how many moms say that to their sons, like, you look like your daddy who left me, and they start mistreating their kid.
Like, you look just like your daddy.
Mm-hmm. And I hate that mother. You know, look turn into Precious, right? Whole situation.
Turn into Precious.
But yeah, it just becomes like this complete. Okay, there is one person who had some responses. She said, Chevy. She said, no bullying is okay, period. I get it. So if a disabled kid is taught how to bully just so others can make fun and bully back, that's okay? No, it's not. That disabled kid didn't understand that. See, that's different. I guess I'm more talking about, I don't even know how to, people on the cognitive plane at a just nondescript baseline.
I was like, where we going with this?
Talking about normal people.
Okay.
I don't mean disabled kids. Like it's almost like manipulating a small child. You know what I mean? I and that's not a diss, but this is what it is. Developmentally delayed people. That's not what I'm referring to. I'm talking about people my age. You know, people your age, people high school. You know, if someone's bullying somebody and they get bullied because of it, that's on them. Like, leave them alone. So she says it's not okay. Bullying is never okay. I've had to watch my disabled brother, but see, she keeps referring to him, and I'm not really talking about that at all. I think that's a completely different.
See, here we go with the irrelevancy.
But it's a very general statement, or a question. If you bully people and then you get bullied because of that, is that on you? Where if it's disabled kids or like small children,
that's a different story.
Right?
I can't stand people, but it's irrelevant. It's relevant, but it's irrelevant at the same time. It's like, I think you're taking it a little beyond because that's a personal issue, maybe, or a personal attachment that you have to disabled children, but that's not what we were referring to. Or that's not what you were referring to, excuse me. It was a general statement. It was a yes or a no, or it depends on the situation, but the whole, I'm going to talk about, disabled children, that wasn't the topic. That wasn't even in the topic.
So I just responded to her and just said I would put small children and people with cognitive or developmental disabilities or delays in a different category that would then fit your response rather than, or actually would not fit your response. And then someone popped up and asked me, Deidre, I went to high school with her, school peoples. She asked me, she was thinking about the same thing, just about the topic of, well, if a bully bullies someone and then gets bullied because of it, is that right? Do two wrongs make a right kind of thing. I think sometimes it's not right, but it's like,
karma.
You don't say nothing, But she asked me,
excuse me,
do you watch 13 Reasons Why? And I asked, no, I have no time.
Everybody's been talking about that.
Guess who just downloaded this at your house? I sure did.
You're downloading illegal shit in my house.
I'm on a VPN, cuz. I hope. Yes, I am. And so I just downloaded this so that way.
I just watched an episode a week. I have my Fire Stick.
Yeah, but what if I'm not here? I don't live here. I only come here on Tuesdays.
Oh. Every Tuesday you could have came and watched it.
I don't want to talk about bullying for 13 weeks.
Okay, that's right. That's true.
Yeah.
I was just saying it's on my Fire Stick.
I love you, though.
Oh.
I'm in love with you, girl.
Lies.
Look at these messages I'm getting.
Baby, you can give it to me. I give it to you. As long as you want. I got it. Baby, you can give it to me. I give it to you. As long as you want.
Oh, my God. All right.
Yes, you know.
So, I really like my phone right now.
These colors are pretty together.
So apparently, the show 13 Reasons Why is about, as Deidre told me, because I had to ask, I'm like, what, why are you asking me about 13 Reasons Why? She said it's about a high school sophomore commits suicide and doesn't leave a note. She does leave cassette tapes for certain kids that contributed to her feeling alone, not fitting in, bullied, etc. It's all secret, and really the only kids that know about the tapes are the ones who have the tapes made about them. One kid who had a secret crush on her is taking it upon himself to right the wrongs for the girl. In a sense, bullying the bullies and calling them out on their wrongdoings, but on the down low. The kids are worried because if the tapes get exposed, it could lead to legal action. It's weird though because it also reflects on how things you think are minor have a much greater effect on others, and the butterfly effect. My kid got me hooked. Butterfly Effect was also a very good movie.
It was.
Yeah.
It was.
But man, so turned into Punked.
Yeah.
I believe.
What's that, 90 what? Or early 2000s?
99, 2000, 2001, somewhere in there. Yeah, I'm still living at home. Yeah. I think I have it on VHS. That's old as hell.
Yeah, sorry. I was thinking all that movie.
No, that's cool. So yeah, 13 Reasons Why is probably, so it sounds like it's right on the topic of bullying, and I'm definitely going to check that out. Man, I don't know if we can even talk any more about bullying any more than we have. I think we've kind of just covered every. Have you ever been bullied?
Yeah.
Really? Give me a quick story.
Is it gonna
That's
be quick?
tough.
Is it gonna be quick? That's the question. Back in
High school, junior high school?
Not high school. I got my shit together by then.
So you're saying I didn't have my shit together?
Elementary. No. I'm
just kidding.
I think
right
that's why I've become a tough cookie, because I've learned how to deal. I would say back in elementary, before I moved to Pennsauken, actually. If you know East Camden, or if you know Camden in general, it's a very rough, tough neighborhood in Jersey. It's probably like number one in the country as far as like the most dangerous. That's not okay. I'm not quoting it to say it's okay.
Right.
But it's this is why I say me and a lot of people that we talk about or are friends with live in two different lives, or we've experienced life totally different.
Right.
Okay, so I say that to say, at my elementary school, love it dearly, but it's a thing when you're, I guess, the black girl that has a little bit more than someone else, and it's not, and I mean very little bit more than someone else. It's almost just like, well, I'm going to pick on that person just because. And because my hair was long and I always had puffs and stuff like that, then girls had issues with that. So it's always like you have an issue with somebody that, oh, well, her clothes looks a little bit better than mine. Or, oh, because her hair is longer than mine. Oh, because, it's always because of that. So I can just recall just one girl. She was like this. And it's so crazy when you see the bully as you get older. Because it's just like, sometimes they look at, like, sometimes you can get people like you, the guy that bullied you, that apologize and stuff like that, and then you get those other ones that pretend like it never happened.
Oh, yeah,
like it never happened. I don't even know you, never met you before in my life, like that type. And that was one of the ones I got. Like, pretend she didn't even know me. She never met me a day in her life.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Don't know what was going on. And when I see her, and it's so ironic how things happen though. But when I see her, because she was up there near my mom's job. My mom works for the state of New Jersey, but she also next door to her is unemployment. So you see anything walking. I saw her going to unemployment, and for the life of me, I just a one stop, which is like a
medical.
Yeah, or WIC, women, infants, and children. Like it's a whole plaza of all that. Even the people that like do Air Force, that go to the Air Force or just get out of jail. And I see her clear as day, and I've seen her before, but I've seen her clear as day. And I looked, and I was just like, she really don't know me. And I find it very ironic because it's just like, how we grew up together. I was at that school for almost 7 years. And you don't know me at all?
Right.
I just think it's so crazy. It's just like the person that really would try to bully. Like just would try to bully you just because you had just a little bit more than what she had. And it was just like, I don't know. She's never beat my ass or anything like that. That ain't never happened. But it was just one of those things where it's just like verbally like, well, you talk a lot, or your hair is like your hair. And mind you, your hair was long too. But I'm just saying, it's just more so like because you have a little bit more, I'm just gonna pick on you. Mm-hmm. So that at a young age, it's hard to articulate your feelings with that because it's just like, okay, what do you do?
Right.
But seeing her, I think the thing that got me was trying to forgive her and get over the idea of like, okay, you really tried to pick on me, or you really tried to like start a fight, or she's the type of person that would like, how can I word this? Will lie on you to get somebody else to fight you.
Okay.
That type of person that was just lie, like, well, I never said that, but try to get you caught up so that way that other person is mad at you and they don't even know why. But now they want to fight you just because she doesn't want to necessarily do it herself. But it was just like a chain of events with that one. But when I saw her, she doesn't know me. And I think that was a portion I had to get over, of the simple fact that how dare you
act like
you've never seen me. You don't know what's going on. You don't know me. And I just would look at her like, wow. That is amazing to me. To her, she probably got over and probably didn't think anything was going on. But for me, at that age, and even now, I shouldn't still remember that. So that means that was trauma for me.
Oh, yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So it's just...
How old were you?
It was elementary, so we're talking... I wasn't in 6th grade yet. It was still... Yeah, I was about to be in 6th grade. So I would say, like, in between that 3rd and 5th. Not 5th. 3rd and... 2nd and 4th. 2nd and 4th, in between those time frames. 2nd and 4th. Yeah, so it was one of those, I wanted to be with the cool kids, and, I wanted to do X, Y, and Z, but I was too smart, because I always got honor roll, or, too smart. Ain't nobody had nothing back then. We was all broke as hell. I wouldn't even be at the school you was at if I had everything. So I'm just like, no, we didn't have everything. But if you got a little notch up, then people think that you're better than them. And that was not how I was. I was always outgoing. I was always friendly to a lot of people. But in that group, they only operated with like, oh, well, you got to be down with this person or down with that person. I liked everybody. But with them, you had to only like certain people, and that was not me. So it was hard trying to, I want to be cool and I want to be down, but I also don't want to ignore the other people. Because I've witnessed them bully other people. And that's why I always tell people, like, don't put it past the people that you're with. If they're doing that to other people, they will damn sure do it to you. And that was one thing I also had to learn.
Yeah. I actually had been, I was thinking about it. I've also been a bully somewhat, too. I don't remember what made it happen. I don't remember. But there was a dude I grew up with. I mean, we're cool now, obviously. It's been 1.5 million years. We were actually really good friends for a long period of time after this situation happened. But there was for a number of years, I don't remember if he had picked on me or picked on someone else or something. Because I think it was almost like he got bullied because he had like some learning disabilities and stuff like that. And so I think he bullied kids like me who were, 3 and 4 years younger than him. And then we kind of bullied him back for a while. And it was like, well, what did you expect? Like, leave us alone,
Yeah.
And so, yeah. I mean, yeah, we're good now. We're good now. I was at his wedding.
I think guys get better closure than girls, though.
Yeah, because y'all in your feelings like forever.
A lot, but I think for me, because now you're taking me back to that time. I think for me, I didn't understand it at the time. Of course, now I do. I can articulate and I understand. But at the time, it's just like, what the fuck is going on? And then, in order to, make sure you ain't getting bullied, you gotta fight. So I used to fight a lot. I'm not proud of that, but I used to fight a lot.
Rolling my eyes, like, yeah, I see that.
It's pretty, horrible. No, I used to fight a lot when I was, younger in like recreation and stuff. We call it recreation, not summer camp, but recreation.
Yeah.
Those were the times. Not good times, but those were the times.
Good times. Anytime you need a payment, good times.
Yeah. So you just gotta fight your way through some things.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean I'm joining a gang. I ain't doing that.
Please don't.
But no, I wouldn't. I ain't built for that. Wow. I may be built for that, but I'm not. No, I'm good. Moral.
So you're not going to fight me, so we're good?
No, I've always had issues with females.
Mm-hmm.
And that's probably where I always just deal with guys.
Yeah, we are the nicer species.
You're easier to deal with.
We are much easier to deal with.
Guys are just, they don't take it too deep. And if y'all do, y'all like to shake hands afterwards and be like, all right, we good. We just be in our damn feelings so much.
Yeah, there are dudes who've insulted me or my Facebook friends in regard to the racial inequalities and discrimination and black men getting killed and all that kind of stuff, who said, you know what, dude, I came at you and that was my bad. Because when I called them out, I didn't like call them names or anything like that. I think it really, and it shouldn't be like this, because it's like, if someone does something wrong, you should just be able to kind of call them out for it and be a dick back, so to speak, right? Which doesn't help the situation. But I really do think the calmer head will prevail a lot of times. Not all the time, but can and will prevail a lot of times. Where, you know, people try to call me out and like, why are you being like such a victim right now? I got an update saying that Facebook, this has been posted to like either my wall or one of my comments or something, or this dude commented on something. This dude I've known since he was in high school. He was a junior in high school. Me and my buddy used to drive him to school every day when we were in college. And yeah, it was just like, where is this coming from? You know? Or other people who just like have said dickish things who actually came back and apologized. These three guys I'm specifically thinking of, including that one Asian dude who attacked me when I made a joke that I thought he was joking about. It wasn't a joke, and I was like, my bad. I told you about that last year? Oh, it's a long story. But anyway, yeah, when I didn't turn it into a bitching fest back and forth. Right. And I just like, well, you know what? I'm not going to get into... Other people can call you names, and you can apologize, and, you know, whatever, but they all apologize later. Even the dude who I did wrong to, unintentionally, who then came at me for like a week. No, like several times. Facebook and then Twitter. And I was like, all right, dude, that's enough. And I just blocked him. And then he texted me like 2 months later, like, hey, I don't know if you blocked me or deleted me, but I apologize for handling it that way. Like, thanks for that. And I never said another word.
I've only had one of those.
Yeah.
Not the text back and forth. It's weird because maybe we just need to get it off our chest or something. But me and her like ended up fighting, and after that, I promise you, it was good. Everything was good.
Yeah, it was straight.
It was great. It was good.
It's great. It's great like a screet.
It's funny though because everybody's like, "Oh my God, Ashley, you were fighting. Oh my God, how was that like?" And how you mean, how was it like? That's not a coin. I mean, that's not like a, hey, you've reached the pinnacle of your life. Like, that's not like, okay.
These girls didn't fight then, huh?
No.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, girl.
Run, Ashley, run. Anyway, we've talked about bullying long enough that we've bullied this topic. Stop checking your phone.
No, I was just checking what time it was.
We'll be out of here in 5 minutes. Next topic. You guys might remember Antoine Dodson several years back.
I heard of him.
The bed intruder guy. Remember the guy who got interviewed on the news about hide your kids, hide your life, they're raping everybody out here, and you knew what he was all about. You could just tell.
They're raping everybody.
I remember a meme that went out after he came out. It was a meme of O.J. Simpson and Casey Anthony. But it was Casey Anthony on the left and O.J. Simpson on the right. It said, hide your kids, Casey Anthony. Hide your wife, O.J. Simpson. Yeah. It was so sadly funny. I think I posted it. I was a lot more
hide your kids,
disrespectful on Facebook 5 years ago.
I think we all were.
I'm different now.
We've learned that big L word. We learned.
L's. So.
Bars.
So what happened was.
Visit.
Shit. People took his interview and turned it into a song. Have you ever heard this?
No.
It's funny. Can you see it? You ready?
Mm-hmm.
This is an auto-tune remix.
Kelly Dodson was asleep with her little girl inside their apartment on Webster Drive when
I was attacked by some idiot from out here in the projects.
Dodson says her attacker used a garbage can to climb onto the unit's ledge, open the upstairs window, and then he got in bed with her.
He tried to rape me. He tried to pull my clothes off.
Dodson struggled with her attacker, knocking over items in her bedroom. Antoine Dodson heard his sister scream and ran to help.
Well,
Obviously, we have a rapist in Lincoln Park. He's climbing in your windows. He's snatching your people up, trying to rape them. So y'all need to hide your kids, hide your wife, and hide your husband because they raping everybody out here.
The attack behind.
We got your T-shirt. You done left fingerprints and all. You are so dumb. You are really dumb. For real.
A crime responsible.
You don't have to come and confess that you did it. We're looking for you. I'm going to tell that, homeboy. He's climbing in your windows, he's snatching your people up, trying to rape them, so y'all need to hide your kids, hide your wife, hide your kids, hide your wife, hide your kids, hide your wife, and hide your husband, because they're raping everybody out here. You don't have to come and confess, we're looking for you, we gon' find you, we gon' find you, so you can run and tell that, run and tell that, run and tell that, homeboy, homeboy. We got your T-shirt and your fingerprints and all, you are so dumb. You are really dumb, for real.
The man got away with no crime evidence. I was attacked by some idiot in the project.
So dumb, so dumb, so dumb, so. He's climbing in your windows, he's snatching your people up, trying to rape them, so y'all need to hide your kids, hide your wife, hide your kids, hide your wife, hide your kids, hide your wife, and hide your husband, because they're raping everybody out here. You don't have to come and confess, we're looking for you. So we gon' find you, we gon' find you, so you can run and tell that, run and tell that, run and tell that, homeboy, homeboy.
It's actually pretty good.
It really was. Man.
They know what they doing. I think I get mad at these things though.
You're like, man, quit. I'm gonna play that song again though.
No.
That song caught on so much. I mean, that's only 192,000 views.
They couldn't say
the brother and sister.
Yeah,
they could have been damn twins or something.
And everything. I'm telling you.
I bet they both got a gap.
I had a gap too.
It's okay. I made it.
I had a gap in her overbite.
Let me see how many views. That one, 192, 48,000 on that one. There it is. 135,492,611 Bed Intruder song views. 64 million on another one. Oh, that's the actual interview itself. Good Lord.
I think I just get mad because it's just damn.
Why us again?
Yeah, like, that and like just like know what they doing when they do that. They're like, we gonna put these little black ghetto ass Bama ninjas over here. Like for real, it's like they purposely do it.
Did you see the video that was coming up next before I clicked off and canceled?
No man.
Autoplay. It said sweet sugar brown or
I saw that.
Yeah, the not today or what was not
sweet brown. It said something brown.
What was it? Oh, we ain't got time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that. That one.
No.
Yeah, like there's just little things that happen in projects and PJs, and it gets on the right.
That's what you're doing.
It's now black people doing blackface. And you got what's the name? The little Catch Me Outside About Egg girl. You know, and now she's famous because of that.
But it's okay.
Why?
But if that was somebody black, you'd be like, well, you know, you're ignorant. You're uneducated. You're just dumb.
Thug.
You're ghetto. You know how you like to use that as an action term. Ghetto. You know, you're all of that. But somebody white, you know, rest capitalized.
Yeah, I love it.
That was a good video, though.
It really was a good song.
Like,
It really was a good song.
like spitting image of each other.
That's what people say about us, Ashley. Hey, Ashley, guess what? I have to pee. But you know what else? You gonna miss me?
So long,
Farewell
to you, my friends. Goodbye for now. Until we meet again, I say so long. Farewell to you, my friends. Goodbye for now. Until we meet again. It's been great to play and sing together. And now it's time to say goodbye. So long, farewell to you, my friends. Goodbye for now, until we meet again. Woo! I was trying not to laugh.
No outro music. That's it. See you next week. We out.